Seems that the feeding frenzy on the woke agenda has not yet stopped. Still stuck with this problem. We are still engulfed by this idiocy, by this degeneracy that we don't know what to do anymore. Now, today's video is titled, Should Piers Morgan be fired from his views on gender? Now, I love Piers Morgan. Yes, he's a bit, how can I say this, abrasive at times. He's a bit too honest at times, but I prefer that, especially against clowns like these. I do prefer it. I do prefer that he goes all in and he tells them what they need to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Goals and Growth. My name is Estian. I help people become the best versions of themselves. So this is a full-on self-improvement channel, but I do like to post this type of content also to just give you a showcase of how messed up our society truly is. So welcome. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and turning on the post notifications bell. You are also more than welcome, if you're interested, to go and download my motivational ebooks, 3 of them, link down below, completely 100% free for you to enjoy. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at this.
The way that Piers talks about trans people, and specifically non-binary people, is that you mock them, you make fun of them, you use them as entertainment, you use the lives of real people in this country, a vulnerable minority, as something to make fun of and get a reaction. And I don't think that's the quality journalism that you do elsewhere.
Well,
for example,
be specific.
Well, when you claim that you're a two-spirit penguin.
Yeah, but you know why I did that?
Go on.
Because you and I had this debate about the 100 genders. And I made the point, if literally you can now identify in 100 different ways your gender, including two-spirit person and all this other stuff, then I'm entitled to identify as a two-spirit penguin. In other words, there are no limits.
There we go. There are no limits. I mean, think about it, 100 different genders that you can now officially identify as. I mean, what does this world come to? What have we done, ladies and gentlemen, you and me, the rational people sitting here and watching this? What have we done to deserve this? I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting out of hand.
What's interesting is you want me to respect all those 100 genders, however ludicrous some of them are, but you have zero respect for my right to identify myself in any way I see fit. Correct. So in other words, it's one rule for you. You say everyone's entitled to say they can be whatever they want. But the moment I decide that I want to be a two-spirit penguin, you go absolutely nuts and want to control how I self-identify.
That's not how it works.
That is the point I'm making. That is not transphobic. That is exposing a flaw in your position.
It isn't, because being a penguin isn't a gender. That's not on the gender spectrum.
No, but can't you see how he's taking it to the absurd degree?
It doesn't matter how many times you pretend to be Pingu Morgan. That's still not a gender that people can identify with. But what we know is that there will be people watching this program.
How? Please, if someone has a list or something, please put it down in the comment section if you really have to. But what is on the gender spectrum? What is the gender spectrum even? I'm getting more and more confused every single day.
Can identify with. But what we know is that there will be people watching this program this morning who might be vulnerable, who might be unsure, that are trans, that are non-binary, and it can do real damage. When I was growing up, I watched GMTV religiously, and I was gay and unsure about my sexuality. And I fear that if that had been mocked constantly on breakfast telly,
there are a few people. Okay, but on that point, there are a few people who have been louder promoting gay rights on television than I have relentlessly on this program.
On that point, in America, we see now them trying to push this whole woke agenda, or this whole gender spectrum thing, into the educational system with little kids. And as I said, that is what's upsetting a lot of people. It's not necessarily, you can believe what you want to believe in, right? You do you. But when you're trying to force this agenda onto people who don't want to be forced into it, I think that is that's the problem what most people have with it. What is your biggest issue with this whole movement? Let me know in the comment section. What is your biggest problem, your personal biggest problem with this whole gender spectrum scenario? Please let me know in the comments.
To zero credit for people like you, right?
I mean, I don't think not hating gay people is a great achievement.
Nobody has been louder and prouder in promoting trans rights, right? And India will confirm that, because she's seen it and she's responded to it and come on and debated it with me. So when you call me racist, homophobic, sexist. No, but I've seen all the stuff on Twitter in the last 2 days, right? This debate about me. Apparently I'm racist, I'm transphobic, I'm bigoted, I'm homophobic. It's all baloney. It's actually baloney. What I think should be happening is this whole gender debate to me, has got completely out of control.
Absolutely.
And the reason I feel so incensed, and I'll come to India in a moment, the reason I feel incensed about this 100 gender thing, imagine being India Willoughby, who's gone through transitioning, which is an extraordinarily difficult, emotional, psychological and physical process, lasting a long period of time. And then when you finally get to transition to be a woman, right? Having wanted to be that your whole life, then you get told, actually, it's meaningless because there are now 100 ways to identify.
I understand his point. But at the same time, if you are willing to go through that transition, you know what the challenges are. You know what the backlash is going to be, and you know what stigma is going to be attached to you, especially in this age. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was tough. But at the same time, I kind of disagree with him. Because if you are willing to walk that path, you know it's going to come with stigma. You know it's going to come with consequences. So best be prepared for it, right?
Well, let's hear from India.
Yeah, I think Piers is a beacon of light, and most trans people, and I'm actually going to use the word transitioners here, because transgender now has become something completely different. Transgender now is about floating about in the middle, no commitment, you pick and choose who you want to be. And with the greatest respect, I don't need any gay people coming in to represent me because I'm trans. It's not the same as being gay. And if you're saying that, you know, this is making a mockery of gender, well, what's your views on drag? I find drag far more offensive than anything that Piers says.
Drag is
gay. No, but drag is gay men dressing up as women in a flamboyant way, exaggerated mannerisms.
Drag is a beautiful
gender.
art.
No, it's not a beautiful art.
India, do you not
whatsoever.
accept? It is. That's a ridiculous comment.
Not.
Do you not accept, though, that you identify as you're a trans woman?
No, I no longer. Do you know what? I no longer identify as trans because it's become so embarrassing because of people like you and what you champion.
Oh, India.
I'm ashamed of it.
You must
awful.
This is the thing. Their own people. It's gotten so out of hand that their own people, the people who are supposed to be in their corner, are turning the tides against them. Because as she said, right, if you fully transitioned, right, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, she's a woman. I truly don't believe so. I will never. Because if you were biologically born a male, then no matter what transitioning you go through, you can never be truly a woman. Am I right or am I wrong for this? Am I right or am I wrong for saying that? You will never be able to truly, in the fullest sense, be a woman.
There are bigoted people in this country.
I don't accept there are 100 genders.
There are bigoted people in this country
not.
who don't recognise your identity. Why is it okay when you recognise that is unacceptable and bigoted for you to turn to non-binary people and say you don't recognise their identity? Damn. Isn't that a race to the bottom?
How can non-binary be transgender? What exactly are you transitioning?
Well, it's under the umbrella
You don't
term.
even believe in gender. So how can you be transgender? It's made a mockery of the whole...
I totally agree.
The whole thing.
I totally agree.
You don't need to be a gender expert. You just need to be compassionate.
I've heard lots of... Yeah, but you're not compassionate, are you?
Yeah. I am. I'm incredibly compassionate.
It's this hard line. They're so
I
intolerant.
have rarely been subjected to more foul abuse on social media than I have in the last few days since this campaign started against me. There is an aspect of, I'm afraid, your lobby group, for want of a better, the gender lobby group, which is highly abusive. It wants everybody that they don't agree with to be fired, cancelled, destroyed, and everything else. And I say, what is wrong with debate? You and I came on and we debated it on here, right?
Yeah.
I actually learned a bit from you. And perhaps you learned a bit from me, and maybe you didn't. But your response to a good-natured debate on that is to now come back on and demand I get fired because we only want people sitting here that you agree with. And I say that most people, and I say this with respect to you, most people think the concept of 100 genders is utter nonsense.
It is nonsense.
And if it takes me to say on television, get away from this ridiculous control freakery stuff that no one's allowed to challenge it. If it's to me that says that, I'm going to say it. And you're not going to stop me, and you're not going to get me fired.
And what exactly is your expertise on gender?
Right.
Have you got any gender issues?
I'm a cisgendered male, and I feel happy to be comfortable in that.
Benjamin, you'll have to explain what cisgender is, because it's not a widely
I was born as a man, and I identify
as a
man.
You're a man.
But the
Just
truth
a man, you don't...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that confusing note, let me know your thoughts about this. As I said, I asked you a few questions, and I want you to tell me, what is your biggest personal issue with this whole gender spectrum, woke agenda thing. I almost destroyed my mic. But what is your biggest issue regarding that? What do you think makes people mad about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please remember to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and please share the video with friends and family if you think they'll enjoy it. I'll see you next time.